So the episode doesn't want to do a Phlox character piece, right? It doesn't want to do a what Phlox actually thinks when he's alone and stuff like that. They kind of touch on it, but it's not really the point of the episode. They don't do what I would have really loved and was really my favorite part of this episode was I hope they did it as a genre horror exercise because I loved all those moments in this one. What they also didn't do is once they abandoned the character work, they didn't turn it into a firm sci-fi problem that Phlox has to fix, you know?
Right.
Like there's no how do we write a script where Phlox, the person who doesn't know what he's doing, is the only person who can do anything on this ship. They don't do that because they kind of mix it with his hallucinations and they turn it into this. Is this really happening? Like, what's the point of this? Is there even a problem in this situation? So it dodges virtually every angle I would have gone with the script and instead settles on Phlox and T'Pol kind of freak out with each other, and we'll intersperse it with scenes of deep, like, unsettling horror. Because my favorite aspect of this episode is being alone on a ship where everyone else is asleep is terrific. I really like that idea. And
that just makes a lot of sense to me. I'm not sure.
when they start doing hallucinations, I love the Hoshi in the shower scene.
Yeah, that was good. Yeah.
Like I love all that stuff like that. I wish they had done more of that, and they don't. And we've said before that Enterprise does creepy and horror really well out of all the Star Treks. It probably does them the best. It just ended up in a bad place. I don't know if you would have preferred a Phlox story, if you wanted a hard sci-fi, or if you thought the other third wheel was the better way to go. But would you agree that it was just a problem of choosing a direction, or do you think it's more fundamentally broken than that as an idea for a script?
I'm not sure. Because I like my favorite part of the episode was actually when he and T'Pol are both kind of losing it, and they both get to ham it up a little bit. And I wasn't totally buying I thought the Hoshi scene was good, but it wasn't really in service of anything.
Same with the Xindi, the insectoid when he walks in.
The Xindi thing, I wasn't even sure if they have they actually visually encountered the insectoid Xindi at this point?
Oh, that's a good question. I don't know. Yeah.
But the Hoshi scene made sense because that hallucination he was having was born of this thing they've been talking about the whole episode, where if the people wake up, they're gonna explode or something in a day or whatever.
Yeah.
So that at least was born of something from the episode, but they didn't expand. It wasn't, his space madness wasn't in service of getting to know Phlox, or what Phlox's fears are, or what Phlox's reservations are, or anything like that. Or
what he brings to the crew in some ways, like what his overcoming the fear, what it reveals about him as a character.
Yeah, I think that would have been the better way to go. And I don't even know if I honestly think I probably would go that way and not have the hard sci-fi thing that he has to get past, because ultimately that kind of is the sci-fi problem at that point, is this cloud of, I don't know, whatever shit they're flying through to get to the other side. How much do that probably is enough. I also think I would probably remove T'Pol. I think if it's just Phlox, then you can get a bit more of that, Evil Dead 2. It's just Ash in the house trying to deal with the crazy shit that's happening.
Yeah, I'd 100% remove T'Pol from the. I think T'Pol kind of kills anything that they're doing in this one.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I don't think they're really doing much of anything. They're just kind of doing a bunch of disparate elements that are all kind of fun in their own way, but not really of service to much as a whole.
Yeah, and in that way, I think it's a pretty stock Enterprise episode where it doesn't have it feels more like a script had to be written and had to come in, and this is what came in, instead of sort of an idea that leads to a script, is the way that I feel a lot of Enterprise things come from, whether it's a time crunch or just a production or something. They never come from a place of oh, I can see where the genesis of this idea came from, and the episode builds around it. It's more like you have a script where you constantly come up with different ideas as you're writing it against the clock, and you're like, oh, I'll add this in now, and then I'll do this, and it leads to this really unsatisfying feeling at the end of it.